Camera B.
Roll sound. Action.
Amazing.
Hi, I know you're probably wondering what it's like being on a movie set, a stage play, a radio show, or a recording studio. Well, after many years of being in the industry, I thought I'd take you along for the ride. Welcome to On the Set with Sly Goodridge.
I want to introduce you to a project called the Jerry Brown Project. And this project is based on my life story, based on a movie called The Flowers of Rose. Imagine this, imagine a movie where you will actually see a project where you will actually feel the passion of Christ. And bigger than American Sniper, you actually experience the pursuit of happiness. And you will hear the Motown music boom on a gospel level. The movie is called The Flowers of Rose. Story of my life, right? And I said my mother's name was Rose. She had 7 kids in Fort Apache, the Bronx. Deemed back in the 70s one of the worst cities in America. And that's where we start, The Flowers of Rose. And her name was Rose, she had 7 kids, and the movie depicts on how our lives bloomed out, right? And so what makes this movie so powerful is that my A-lister is Jesus Christ himself. My director is God the Father himself. I'll kind of give you a little, I call it back to the future. So I'm not looking to produce something that's going to actually lead you to the future. I'm actually producing a project that's going to take you back to where you come from. You see, Moses asked God a question. He said, God, show me your glory. And God said, I won't show you my glory because you'll die. He said, but I'll put you in a rock and I'll pass by you and I'll show you the backside of my goodness. So it's not so much where God is taking you to, right? But it's where God has brought you from. And that starts in one part of the movie. There's a part in there that talks about Jeremiah 1:5, when God talks to Jeremiah and said, before I even put you in the womb, I knew you. Imagine that, I knew you. See that? And he said, I have ordained you to be a prophet to the nations. So my life is not something that I'm just kind of working towards the future. My life is designed by God, so I'm working my way back to the past, where I come from. So I'm excited about this. I'm excited for Sly doing this podcast and putting this together and giving me the opportunity to share my story, my life. I'm excited about it, guys. I'll just give you some bits and pieces of this, though, my life story. Again, being a kid from the Bronx, New York, I'm the second of the oldest of the 7 kids. My oldest brother is one of the best guitar players in New York City, one of the best basketball players. Just had an awesome life up in the Bronx, but the guy was an example to follow. And my mom died at 36 years old, leaving 7 kids in Fort Apache, the Bronx. That's how the story starts. Right, and so all of our lives went different directions, right? One lost his mind, one got on drugs, one went to prison. Things happen in our life. I dropped out of school and tried to get a job to take care of my brothers and sisters, and that didn't work out too well. The building we lived in was almost a vacant building, in fact. And so imagine this. This is a story, again, not on my life, but a story on how God has directed my life. And maybe you'll see from this story how God is directing your life too. The Flowers of Rose. I ended up walking past a recruiting station. I was basically homeless, walking down the street, didn't know what to do. I lost my job. Many of you might have heard about Blackout 77 back in New York City. Well, doing that, I lost my job as a TV repairman. I was helping a TV guy fix TVs, just something to kind of be able to pay the bills and live. And so walked past the Army recruiting station. The guy said, kid, you want to join the military? And I said, I don't have a diploma. But it's all about trusting God. Trust me, it's all about trusting God. Yeah, it's all about trusting God. And that's kind of my life story, is these little serendipities, things along the way that if you recognize, you'll see it's God. And so that's kind of the gist of the story. And walking past the recruiting station, the guy said, kid, you want to join the military? And I said, man, I don't have a high school diploma. And the guy said, well, that ain't gonna work. I said, well, I'm trying to get the GED at night. He said, well, since you're doing that, let's take the test, see how well you do. Took the test, scored pretty high, and the guy told me this. Now imagine this. He said, you have a slight bit of hope. A slight bit of hope because there's something called a non-grad slot. We have one slot in the whole state of New York City that if you can pass the test, pass the physical, and don't have a criminal background record, you might can get a job in the military. I said, wow, thank you for that. Pass the test, pass the physical, had a slight criminal record, but it was expunged, and I didn't even know that. So again, ended up being in the military. And so this is where the documentation in the script to the movie begins, with my life in the military. And again, I won't cover all the details on the background on all the family members, right? But I would say this though, God, it's all about trusting God. And so my time in the military, I ended up becoming an undefeated Army boxer, actually a combat veteran, served in Iraq, General Colin Powell and General Schwarzkopf, actually selected in basic training as the platoon leader for the entire platoon. And I wonder, how did all that happen? It's all about trusting God. See, backtrack, my mom, she knew God, she trusted God. But I didn't really know much about God, but I knew there was a God, and I knew that we had a godly fear given to us in our family, and that was one of the foundations of our lives that helped me and us actually move forward. So I'm gonna leave you intrigued on this though with the movie, is that there's 7 kids in The Flowers of Rose. And the movie tells how all of our lives bloomed out. And so I'm gonna talk about my life, understand there's 6 more lives involved there. So keep that in mind as I go through this little dialogue with you here. And so you asked me, Dr. Brown, what made you continue? Well, life will make you continue, but trusting God will determine how you continue. See that? So life, I joined the military. I finally got myself in a position where I can actually get income. I can try to help family members. Basically, I was a high school dropout, so they allowed me to go back to school. And so I find myself going to basic training at Fort Gordon, Georgia, Fort Jackson, South Carolina. And in basic training, I mean, just a phenomenal event of a lot of young soldiers. Can you imagine a high school dropout from the Bronx, and then the drill sergeant makes me the team leader for the whole squad, the whole team of soldiers being trained, a high school dropout from the Bronx, right? Trusting God makes the difference. And so during that phase, ended up taking the physical fitness test and scoring one of the highest scores on the physical fitness test. What made me do that? Well, I came from Fort Apache to Bronx. Running wasn't a problem, climbing wasn't a problem, and being able to escape and evade wasn't a problem, right? So don't let your background be the thing that holds you down. Let your background be the launching pad of the thing that moves you up, right? So I used it as my platform. I knew where I came from, guys. I had desire to move higher, the desire, right? And so after basic training, I found myself, ended up going to Fort Bragg, North Carolina with the 82nd Airborne Division. And during that time, I ended up going back and I married my wife, Deborah, and we moved to Fort Bragg, North Carolina. And while at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, I want you to track this now, right? Only by trusting God. After being a part of the 82nd Airborne Division, I became a boxer on Fort Bragg, joined the Army's boxing team, and ended up becoming an undefeated Army boxer, right? Trusting God makes a difference. Undefeated boxer. And strangely enough, there's something about how God works in your life. And talking about the flowers of rose, how our lives bloomed out. So I'm showing you how my life bloomed out, but you can kind of get a gist of how my brothers and sisters' lives bloomed out. So if you're watching this and you get a question, the reason why I'm staying on course, I got a great director. I'll tell you his name at the end, right? So this actually started my life. Yeah, so this is where the documentation of my life begins. And it begins to be a script in my spirit. Now, I said that my director was God. I wrote the script physically, but God actually directed me to write the script spiritually. So I would say a point there is, right, listen to God for the script of your life. Now, watch this. What deemed to be my crash site, God made it my launch pad. Don't matter where you come from, right? It's where God is actually taking you to, actually from where God is taking you from. So God's got a plan. Even before you were born, even before you went to your mother's womb, God had a plan for you. So that's part of the script. So that inspired me to begin to just document my life, some of the things. So I documented being an undefeated boxer. I started writing that down. I got married, a young soldier. That made me think about this, right? My first vehicle, I told the guy my wife got pregnant, having my daughter Angel, and my daughter's name is Angel. Isn't that amazing? So God is something. And so writing the script, there's a part that I went to a car dealership, young soldier, didn't have a lot of money. I needed a car just to get my family around while she was pregnant with the baby and having the baby. So I told the guy to give me a car to last for 6 months. That's all I wanted, to last for 6 months, right? A big 72 Chevy Impala, right? And so in your life, you may not have the best of the best, but God will give you what you need to pass the test. So hang in there, right? So nevertheless, after being at Fort Bragg, North Carolina, my wife, 2 kids now, got transferred to Mannheim, Germany. Isn't that amazing? So I took that same car to Germany, and it lasted for 3 years, my 72 Impala. So now I'm documenting this now. And so I get over to Germany, and again, I'm a kid from the Bronx, New York. I actually knew God, knew about God, I trusted God, but didn't understand the relationship with God. So that's part of the script now. So in Mannheim, Germany, August 12, 1983, after being there for a while, doing great over there, part of NATO, the whole deal, I'm now getting used to drinking the German beer, Ike Bomb, German beer, right? And now, love God now, right? Now watch this. I ended up, this part of my documentation, the script, I ended up going to a field and working with a young man. He said, Sergeant Brown, you want to go to church tonight? I said, you got to be crazy. Go to church on a Friday night. I went and got a whole case of German beer to go party after church, right, and get drunk. But something told me to go to church, right? So this is part of the script now. Ended up going to church that night, place called Holy Ghost Headquarters, Church of God in Christ. And nevertheless, I ended up getting saved that night, August 12, 1983, over in Mannheim, Germany. Now, this is again when my life not only became a part of a script, but my life became connected with a God purpose script that even more so I understood now, not just about God, but a relationship with Jesus Christ. And so that kind of inspired me from there. And being a young soldier, so these are the things that I kind of look back on situations. Being a young soldier, brand new married, brand new family, brand new military, in a brand new country with a brand new relationship with Jesus Christ. Figure that one out, right? And so now, me and my wife on the way to church one night, and I walked out the house before she did, and she walked behind me, and I said, did you turn the light out? She said, did you turn the light out? I said, no, you came out second. You should have turned it out. She said, you should have turned it out. We started fighting about turning the light out. So young married couples, get ready for this, right? So nevertheless, that led us arguing on the way to church, and that kind of gave us, again, in the script, my first point to talk about trials, tribulations, decisions, right? And knowing that trusting God always comes out better, right? So we decided to divorce in Mannheim, Germany, right? After that one argument about the light being turned off, right? So I ended up going to a training exercise, and a young man came to me. This is called one of them serendipitous times, right? This is a big part of the script. And the young man said to me, and this inspired me to write this part in the script. He said to me, he said to me in the script, he said, have you ever heard about 7 ways to pray? And I said, no, I never heard about that, right? So he gave me a cassette tape, and the cassette tape was how to pray, right? So I took that tape home. I was sleeping in the living room, Steve was sleeping in the bedroom. We made our decision, we were going to divorce. She was going back to the States, the whole deal. As I was listening to that tape, how to pray. Now imagine a guy gave me a tape on a training exercise in another country, right? After I got saved. So God is everywhere you go, he is. Even before you get there, he's there. When you leave, he's still there. When you go, he takes you where you're going. So watch this. So this is what inspired me to begin to write these parts here. Going to a divorce, right? We never divorced, but that tape was how to pray. And I was praying one night on the living room floor, and the Lord said, pray this prayer. Pray, Lord, fix me first. And folks, talk about why I wrote the script. That's why I wrote the song, Lord, Fix Me First. It's a true song about how our lives would change by getting a message on praying, Lord, fix me first. So that message will change your life no matter what you're going through, any relationship problem. If you pray this prayer, Lord, fix me first. Not that you're wrong, but the whole thing means this. Lord, fix me in the situation so I can make it right. See that? And so we fast forward from there, right? Leaving Mannheim, Germany, coming back to the United States, going through the 101st Airborne Division, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, going back to school, finishing off a couple of PhDs and high school dropout. All this good stuff's happening now. I wrote actually an entire CD called Manifestation Praise is already done, entire CD based on these little serendipitous times from the Bronx to the military to me talking to you right now. And all 9 songs on that CD actually depicts the situation in the movie, the entire movie, each song. And so now, getting back in the United States, I started, retired from the military, had a chance now, my wife, she's a singer, gospel singer, and had a chance to really just sit down and look at really not just writing the script now, not just writing the music, but producing the music, right? Producing the actual movie from the script. And so I want you to catch this part though, right? This all came from a situation back in the Bronx in the 70s. And now I'm talking to you now today, and it's like I'm just starting the day. So God always is, always was, always will be. So we're here now writing the script, The Flowers of Rose. All, sure, I won't give you that part, all the brothers and sisters, right? But the script now is being produced, hopefully here in Georgia. I got a chance to enroll in several film festivals. We won 11 film festivals, music festival, and now the script is a couple of months from actually pre-production now. Connected with a production company, financing, just the whole deal. So what I would say to you is this: whatever you start, whatever you desire, that's built on the foundation of God, right? And just document your life, guys. The book, the script, the music, it's all my life. And here's the best news about all that, right? I look back over my life, it sounds and it looks tragic. Losing a mom, 36 years old, kids on welfare, high school dropout. But look back over your life and you see your life was actually planned by God. Not the bad, not the good, but the process. And so that's my gist on the script and the movie, is that I've learned to understand that success is not a destination. It's a process of appreciation. I appreciate the process, man. The good, the bad, the ugly. I appreciate the process because somebody's life will be impacted by a script now written based on my story. Think about this. Based on my story, a script that's written that's actually directed by God, A-listed by Jesus Christ, Passion of Christ, American Sniper, Pursuit of Happiness, in the Motown music boom on a gospel level. That's all I can tell you for today. I want to thank God for Sly Goodridge. Awesome. I'm going to throw the name in there, right? Phenomenal gentleman that give me the opportunity to come to his studio and just share this phenomenal story. So stay tuned for the movie, The Flowers of Rose. So much more to it, twists and turns and twists, excitement, adventure, but devotion, inspiration, and information to allow you to go from where you are to the top of the top. God bless you.
My mother Rose. She is a symbol of love, bearing beautiful flowers. I remember her this way, inspiring all that is positive and true. I miss her, but I still feel her essence. The joy, the peace, the loving, caring nature, strong yet tender, wise yet humble, the Rose that I know. My mother Rose, she helped me to survive in bad times. She taught me how to cherish the good times. And through her, I found my purpose.
Son, whatever you do, keep God first in your life. And whatever you pray for, just know that it is already done.
It's already done. It's already done. Dance and sing, both hands are raised. It's already done. It's already done. Manifestation praise. My body's healed. My belief is raised. It's already done. Manifestation praise. Come on, family, sing with me. We're already blessed and financially free. Manifestation praise is what you see. I'm blessed in the city. I'm blessed in the field. Manifestation praise is God's perfect will. Clap, dance, and sing. Both hands are raised. Yes, I believe in manifestation.
So whatever part of the world it may be, I hope I've been able to encourage and inspire others to pursue their dreams, because guess what? It's all up to us to make it happen. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel so I can bring you more content. You never know who might be next, and hopefully that person might be you. I might be telling your story